We all know Stephen A. Smith for being the loud, outspoken analyst on ESPN, but only a few are aware of his house in New York, his opinions about domestic violence, and his call-out to Will Smith after the Oscars incident. In this video, we will dive deep into Stephen's total net worth and more. This is Stephen A. Smith's lifestyle. Stephen A. Smith was born in the Bronx, New York on October 14, 1967. His mother is Janet Smith, but sadly, there's no information about Stephen's father. Stephen's parents were born in the United States Virgin Islands. Some rumors say that his father was a baseball star in the 1950s. Stephen grew up in Queens along with his sisters and brother. Smith's grandma on his mother's side is the only one of white ethnicity, while the rest of his family is black. Unfortunately, in 1992, in a tragic car accident, the Smith family lost Basil, Stephen's only brother. The ESPN commentator also has a half-brother from his father's side, whose identity is not public. Smith went to Thomas Edison High School in Queens. After graduating from high school, he attended the Fashion Institute of Technology for a single year. Luckily, after that year, Stephen received a basketball scholarship to attend Winston-Salem State University. After that, things began to go uphill for the famous TV celebrity. He eventually got into the sports, television, and commentating business. Today, he is one of the most recognized faces in entertainment. But how does Stephen A. Smith live his life? What car does he drive? Who's he dating? Stay tuned to find out. Stephen's opinions. The first thing one has to understand about Stephen A. Smith is that he'll always say what he thinks. Although he has had backlash for the reporter many times, it's also the reason he reached such a high level in his career. For example, Smith once talked about the recent Ben Simmons situation, in which the player said that he was not ready to return. Stephen did not hesitate in saying that Simmons might be scared of facing Philly. Just like this one, Stephen is always making bold statements. He even once said that Devin Booker was the next Kobe Bryant. This caused huge anger among fans, but the face of ESPN refused to apologize for his opinions. Smith also once said that he wanted Greg Popovich to be the Brooklyn Nets head coach and that the Dallas Cowboys should not be included in the NFL Films film Hard Knocks. Stephen A. Smith once rallied against Will Smith in a Twitter rant after the actor slapped Chris Rock in the face on the Oscars stage. Chris Rock was presenting the award for Best Documentary when he made a G.I. Jane joke about the actor's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Smith then got on stage and slapped the comedian in the face. In the moments following the incident, ESPN personality Smith continued on Twitter. He just stained the greatest moment of his career. You cannot do that shit, especially as a black man in that position to another black man on that stage. Will might not ever recover from this behavior. Rumors and controversy. Due to these strong opinions, Smith sometimes gets involved in the most significant controversies. Once on live TV, Smith talked about domestic violence, stating that females and their physical looks were the main reason domestic violence existed. After this, he got massive criticism and was not seen on any platform for a week. Another time in 2015, during the FIFA Women's World Cup, when Norway landed a free kick goal against Germany and players turned their heads as the ball got close, Smith said, "Maybe they don't want to mess up their hair." This comment, plus his previous opinions, led people to label him as a sexist. But this time, Stephen decided to apologize on Twitter to avoid losing his job and ruining his reputation completely. Because of all these incidents, many people criticize Smith. Ironically, his sincereness has taken him very far. Today, he is living a wealthy life full of luxurious items and unforgettable experiences. House and cars. Stephen Smith currently lives in Hollis, a nice area of New York City. Although there aren't a lot of details about his home, we do know that it cost him about $1 million. Even though Stephen doesn't like to show where he lives, he does like to impress people with his vehicles. The TV personality has an incredible collection of cars, like a 2015 Mercedes-Benz S550 that cost him $95,000, a Range Rover autobiography that cost him $84,420, and a BMW. But that's not all. Smith's mother once bought him a Mercury Topaz 1985 as his first car. But of course, you're not going to catch him driving that after knowing about his luxurious collection. Aside from expensive rides, Stephen likes to spend his money on other assets and luxury. For example, costly suits. The face of ESPN also spends a good amount of cash on dating women. Girlfriend. This is a fact because Stephen is not married yet, so he is surely meeting as many people as he can, and no girl can expect a humble dating experience from a celebrity like him. Even though Smith was never officially partnered with someone, he was once engaged. In fact, Stephen is the father of 2 daughters, who are 1 year apart from each other. One time, GQ magazine asked him about his personal life and the reason behind his breakup, but he didn't provide any clear answers. Stephen said he is very skeptical about being in love and loving others since he thinks this will give anyone a hard time. But this thinking doesn't stop Smith from loving his daughters. The ESPN sportscaster states that his family represents hope for him ever since his mother died in 2017. There are several ongoing rumors about Stephen's personal life and girlfriends, but there's no real evidence or confirmation from his side for now. While he waits for the right person, Stephen enjoys his wealth with his daughters and friends. Net worth and salary. Stephen has a total net worth of $16 million, making him one of the richest media celebrities and the best-paid ESPN sportscasters. Stephen's yearly salary is suspected to be around $8 million. These numbers didn't come from nowhere, though, as Stephen has worked in the media for more than 30 years. But TV isn't the only source of Smith's income. He also gets money from his acting and producing careers. His first big jump was based on a $3 million salary per year from his 2014 contract with ESPN. After this, Smith got a raise to $5 million by the start of 2015. Aside from his ESPN contracts, Stephen's partnership with SiriusXM Radio made him a good $1 million. But Stephen wouldn't be as rich and famous if it wasn't for sports. In 2019, another ESPN contract extension with Stephen came up, which made him accumulate another $8 million per year. But Stephen doesn't rely on his ESPN salary. The famous commentator also has signed contracts with different agencies to represent him while negotiating with endorsements to keep boosting his net worth. Agencies. In February 2019, Stephen signed a deal with talent and media agency WME, aka Endeavor Group Holdings. However, this was not his first agency deal, as the famous TV personality had already signed with Creative Artists Agency in 2016. These agencies represent Stephen in areas like broadcasting, endorsements, publishing, and speaking, including his upcoming contract negotiations with ESPN. Another asset the ESPN sportscaster has is his huge social media following. Social media availability. Aside from television, Smith is very active in social media, as he has millions of followers on Instagram and Twitter. The face of ESPN Sports has 3.7 million followers on Instagram and, similarly, 5.6 million followers on Twitter. Smith mostly makes posts about NBA issues and other sports leagues. Stephen is very viral on Twitter for making controversial statements or comments, just like he does on TV. Smith makes critical comments on the players, coaches, and teams. Although these actions build his brand, it also equally increases his number of haters. For this reason, many people tend to think Stephen is a bad person. But this is not true at all. Since Stephen comes from a family with good values, he always likes to give back to those in need. Charity. Stephen is active in charity works and has an association with many nonprofit projects. In January 2016, during Winston-Salem State fundraising breakfast, he decided to provide a donation of $50,000 per year to Winston-Salem State University. That will be a collective donation of $250,000 over 5 years. If you like this video, you might like the video on the player who he said would be the next Kobe Bryant, Devin Booker. Do you think Stephen A. Smith is one of the best TV personalities in history? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.